Some of our most loyal viewers lately have requested that, hey, can we find some positive stories in this country because things are getting a little negative. And sometimes on this channel, we do spend a lot of time talking about the failures of our government, the waste, the bad decisions, the corruption, and the excuses, all very rampant. And that's fair because Ottawa gives us no shortage of material on any of that. But today, I do want to do something a little bit different for those loyal viewers who are asking for it. Today, I want to rave instead of rant. I want to celebrate the fact that Canada's real strength doesn't live in Parliament Hill. It doesn't come from a Prime Minister's office memo or a cabinet announcement. It comes from regular, everyday Canadians themselves, from people who look around their country and communities, see a problem, and roll up their sleeves to fix it. Imagine if our government just did that. While your government fails you, though, and wastes your money, these incredible people are proving in very real ways that we can take matters into our own hands to build and improve our country. So let's talk about the stories that prove we are still strong and we are still free. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You can now hype this video as well and share your comments and thoughts down below to join the conversation. We're going positive today. We're talking Canadians that are making this country still strong and free despite our government. And we're going to start with a 38-year-old family-run sauce business in Pickering, which was about to close after the pandemic. Grocery stores had pulled out, sales had tanked for them, and it looked like the end of the line for 3 generations of work put into this business. But then something extraordinary happened. The owner's daughter made a simple post on a Buy Canadian forum online, asking people to give her mom's Indo-African chutneys a try. And that post went viral. Within days, sales spiked 4,000%. How about that? Canadians from coast to coast stepped up, buying jars, sharing posts, and proving that when we support our own, we can actually save entire livelihoods. The government wasn't there for this business with any kind of a bailout. The community was. A proud family business is still here in existence right now because ordinary people chose to act. It's not very often we get to see this in the news, do we? It's instead all about what Mark Carney is supposedly doing for this country. But we're not going there today because we're going to tiny homes. Remember tiny homes? Oh yeah, Mark Carney was going to bring a whole bunch of them to us. That hasn't even started yet, but then there's Ryan Donay, a 37-year-old construction manager in Toronto who decided that he was going to take matters into his own hands and wasn't going to sit around waiting for some task force or housing strategy. He saw tent encampments. He knew his own brother had faced homelessness in his life, and he decided to build a solution with his own 2 hands. Ryan spent over 100 hours designing and constructing a portable tiny home, not a cardboard box, not a temporary fix, a fully insulated unit on wheels with a bed, a desk, a sink, solar lights, and a locking door for that matter. Kind of need that these days, don't we? It cost him $5,000 in materials, which he covered himself. He's already built 2 and is crowdfunding for more of these units. He founded a nonprofit called Tiny Tiny Homes to scale this. Think about that. One man, one guy with a tool belt, giving dignity and security to people the government has abandoned in this country. If that doesn't scream Canadian spirit, I don't know what does. And the fact that we can't, as a government, get any of this done, yet one guy can throw on his tool belt and start saving and raising funds for this even further is wild to me. Absolutely wild, and good for you. In London, Ontario, Christina Locke, who battled lymphoma for 20 years, she knows the financial strain of paying hospital parking day after day. It doesn't seem like it's a lot up front, but it really adds up, and it adds up quick. And she spent thousands of dollars just to get treatment. Now, in remission, thank goodness, she decided she would make life a little easier for those still fighting the disease. She set up a fundraiser and started handing out free parking passes to patients at the cancer center in London. On her birthday, she holds up a sign that says, "Happy birthday to me, your parking is free." She has raised more than $5,000 to cover costs for strangers. That's compassion in action in this country. That's someone saying, hey, I went through this. Nobody's helping you, and I won't let you go through it alone like I did. She didn't wait for hospital policy to change or for the province to step in or the federal government. She's done it herself, and patients have been spared one more burden because of her kindness. Wow. I mean, how cool is that? And kudos to her for giving back like that. Then, of course, we have Canada's first ever free grocery store in Regina, Saskatchewan. Because when we head over to Regina, the people there, some of the friendliest you'll ever meet in Saskatchewan. And where the local food bank has now reinvented itself in the most Canadian way it possibly could have. They opened the nation's first free grocery store, not a food bank, handing out boxes of canned goods, but a full supermarket experience where families can choose what they actually need slowly and gradually and based on their lists. Fresh produce, dairy, meats, shelves, all of choices that they need for their homes, all for free, funded entirely by private donations and community support. No government subsidies, no bureaucrats managing these shelves at all, just local generosity. The design matters when you give people choice and you give them some dignity. And that's what our government doesn't do these days. The stigma of lining up for a handout is replaced also by this. It's replaced by the dignity of shopping for your family like anyone else does. It's a bold, citizen-driven model that other communities are now looking to replicate across this country. Again, it wasn't Ottawa that made this happen. It was our Canadian people. And then, of course, there is the opportunity to integrate even better with our Indigenous communities. And that's where Adam Reiger comes in. He's a waiter at a Smitty's restaurant in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. See, I told you, Saskatchewan, friendly people. He noticed many of his customers were Cree-speaking Indigenous families. He remembered how much people appreciated when he spoke French in Edmonton, so he decided to learn Cree, one of the most complex languages in the world, just so he could greet and serve his customers in their language. He studied YouTube videos, asked regulars for their help, and now when he takes orders in Cree, his customers light up. The videos of him doing this have gone viral. Check them out on YouTube and on TikTok. A non-Indigenous Canadian choosing to learn Cree, not because of a grant or a cultural exchange program of any sort, but because it's the right thing to do in his eyes, because it builds connection, respect, and reconciliation in everyday life without the government forcing it down anyone's throat. That's what taking the reins looks like as citizenry in your country. And speaking of the First Nations, look what they've done in the Northwest Territories. How can you not be amazed by what they're doing? 21 First Nations in the Northwest Territories made history this year by banding together to protect a massive swath of that land. 150,000 square miles of boreal forest and tundra, to be exact. That's twice the size of Florida. They created their own trust, raised hundreds of millions in funding through philanthropy and partnerships, and are ensuring the land is stewarded sustainably for generations. No government program forced this. No politician announced it with fanfare and giant press conferences up north. Indigenous communities took control of their own land, their own future, and showed the world what true stewardship actually looks like. They are protecting ecosystems their own way and building sustainable local economies on their own terms. I mean, this is what Canadians are starting to do across the country. We are starting to see people take matters into their own hands and build on their own, because we know that the Liberal federal government has no intention to actually do so. And then one more story. It's a story about bison and buffalo that feels like a legend come true. In Birdtail Sioux Dakota Nation in Manitoba, buffalo have returned to roam their lands for the first time in over 150 years. How cool is that? 11 bison, including a rare white calf, a sacred symbol of hope, were released onto the reserve in partnership with the neighboring Sioux Valley Dakota Nation. As the animals ran across the snow, elders sang traditional songs and community members wept with joy. This wasn't a government wildlife program. It was an Indigenous-led revival of culture, heritage, and ecology. It was a statement that the past can be healed, that traditions can live again, and that a people can restore what was once lost. These types of stories are happening across our nation. There are cool stories in every province, in every territory. These stories are proof that Canada's best days are not defined by who sits in power in Ottawa necessarily. They are defined by all of us, by Canadians themselves. A daughter saving her family business with a viral post. A man building tiny homes with his own two hands and not waiting for the government to do it themselves. A cancer survivor paying forward her kindness. A city reinventing food banks as grocery stores. A waiter learning Cree to show respect. Nations protecting their land and bringing buffalo back to life. This is truly Canadian. This is the Canada that endures. This is the Canada that thrives, still strong, still free, not because of government, but in the spite of government. And as long as Canadians keep stepping up like this, no amount of political incompetence can erase what makes this country great. And that's all of you. So here's to the people. Here's to every single person watching this video, liking it, sharing it, commenting. Every single person that takes matters into their own hands. Here's to the stories that make us proud. And here's to never forgetting that our freedom and strength have always been built from the ground up, from every person to every person, from coast to coast. We'll see you tomorrow.